Welcome to the Mobile Home Friend YouTube channel. I am Charles Odell, and this is your primary resource for everything manufactured housing. Whether you are tackling a full remodel like the one you see here, or just looking for honest advice on repairs and financing, we provide the data and technical deep dives you need to succeed. Our mission is simple: to help you save money and improve your home through first principles logic and transparent cost breakdowns. For the full technical guides and even more resources, visit us at mobilehomefriend.com.
Welcome to another deep dive from Mobile Home Friend. Today we're looking at the mobile home title, based on our latest research at mobilehomefriend.com. You know, it's just a single piece of paper, but it holds all the power when it comes to your home. We're going to demystify the whole thing for you.
All right, let's just dive right in with a big question for you. What do you think is the single most important document for your mobile home? I mean, really think about it. If you ever want to sell it, prove you own it, maybe even get insurance, literally everything comes down to this one piece of paper. And if you don't have it, oof, you are in a seriously tough spot.
And yeah, you guessed it. That document is the mobile home title. You know, the absolute easiest way to wrap your head around this is to think of it exactly like the title to your car. It's that official state-issued document that screams, "Hey, this is mine." It's your legal proof of ownership when the home is treated as personal property. And on it, you're going to find all the key details: the manufacturer, the model, and of course, that super important serial number.
Okay, so let's get into a part that honestly trips up so many people. It's so easy to just assume one home, one title, right? But let me tell you, that can be a really dangerous assumption. So the big question is, how many titles should your home have? Well, it's actually a super simple rule of thumb. It's one title for every single section of the home. So for a standard single wide, that's nice and easy. Just one title. Simple. Exactly, and that same logic just carries right on through. You've got a double wide? Well, that means you're going to need two separate titles. Makes sense, right? One for each of the two sections that came to your property. And you see where this is going. For a triple wide, yep, you got it, 3 titles. So the big takeaway here is count the sections of your home. That's exactly how many titles you need to have. It is such a simple check, but believe me, it can save you from a massive, massive legal headache later on. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because sometimes a title isn't actually the document you need. And that brings us to this really fundamental difference between a title and a deed. So a title, that's for personal property. That's when your home is legally treated, well, like a vehicle. But if you own the land your home sits on, and it's on a permanent foundation, it legally becomes real property. And for real property, you don't have a title. You have a deed, just like a regular site-built house. So the question is, how do you even make that switch? How do you go from personal property to real property? Well, that's where this document called an affidavit of affixture comes in. Think of it like the legal bridge that lets you retire those old vehicle-style titles so a real estate deed can be issued instead. Now, we go into a lot more detail on this on the Mobile Home Friend website because the exact process can really vary from state to state, so it's absolutely essential to check with your local county.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about some of the common and, let's be honest, pretty stressful problems you can run into. So what happens if you have the title right there in your hand, but your name isn't on it? You paid for the home, but legally it still belongs to someone else. Yikes.
Okay, if you're lucky, this is actually a pretty simple fix. If the person you bought it from did their part and signed the seller's section correctly, you have what's called an executable title. It's ready to go. All you have to do is take that signed piece of paper down to your local motor vehicle department, fill out the transfer forms, and boom, you're the new owner of record. Easy peasy.
But what if they never signed it? This is where it gets a lot trickier, and it's exactly why checking everything at the moment of sale is so important. See, the only person who can request a new or duplicate title is the person whose name is already on it, the legal owner of record. So you'll have to track them down, get them to request a new title, and then, this is key, you both need to sign it correctly before you can finally take it to the DMV and make it official.
Yeah, that's a real headache for sure. But let's talk about an even more stressful situation. What if the title isn't just filled out wrong? What if it's just gone, vanished, completely missing? There's no piece of paper to even look at.
Okay, first things first. If you are already the legal owner of record, don't panic. This is usually just a bit of paperwork. You just contact your state's motor vehicle department, tell them you need a duplicate title, give them the key info like the VIN or serial number, pay a small fee, and they'll get a new one sent out to you. Problem solved. All right, now for the really tough one. If you are not the owner of record and the title is missing, this is a much harder situation.
Honestly, your best bet is usually to work with the manager of the park where the home is. You might have to ask them to file for abandonment on the property. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's a long and complicated legal process, but it can result in you finally getting a new title in your name. If you want the full technical breakdown of how this works, you should definitely check out the post on mobilehomefriend.com.
Okay, let's change gears a bit and talk about something else you might find printed on that title, a lien holder. What's that? Well, simply put, it's a person, or, way more often, a bank or a lender who has a legal claim on your home until a loan is paid off completely.
And having a lien has some pretty major implications. For one, the lender often physically holds on to the title. And this is crucial. You cannot sell the home until that loan is paid off. Once you do pay it off, you have to work with both the lender and the DMV to get that lien officially removed. The whole goal, the dream, is to get what's called a free and clear title. That means you own it outright, no strings attached. And you know, the Mobile Home Friend website is a fantastic resource for figuring out the specific rules for this in your state.
And believe me, when you finally get that free and clear title in your hands, wow, that is a huge moment. Our article on the site puts it just perfectly. Congratulations, this means the house is officially yours. That's the moment you achieve real true ownership, and there is just no better feeling than that.
Absolutely. So the big takeaway here is that understanding and, more importantly, controlling your title, that is the absolute foundation of secure home ownership. So now that you've got a handle on that, it really makes you wonder, right? What's the next step you should take to truly secure your investment?
Thanks for watching. For more guides and the full article on this topic, head over to mobilehomefriend.com. Don't forget to check the links in the description below.
Thanks for watching. For more technical guides on this topic, click the link to see the in-depth article over at mobilehomefriend.com. There are many more informational dives into manufactured home topics to investigate and keep your project moving forward.